All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon. We have a lot of people attending today, so thank you for taking time to join us. We will just take a few minutes before we start to make sure people can log in. While we wait, please feel free to share who you are, the organization you're with, and where you're joining us from in the chat. From our RSVP list, we have folks joining us from all over North America in both the US and Canada. So really exciting group in the room today. And the agencies and organizations you represent span a wide range of services. Thank you for all the work you do. So yeah, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. And we'll start in just about 1 or 2 more minutes. And feel free to just introduce yourself and where you're coming from and your agency in the webinar chat. It's really exciting to see everyone who's joining us today. We'll just take about another 30 seconds, let people log in, make sure everyone can join us. We have a lot of content to get through. All right, well, I'm going to dig in and get started. My name is Helen Hennighausen. I'm Senior Manager of Partnerships and Accounts here at Forward. And like I said, we're really excited to have you join us today to dive into what we believe will be a very insightful discussion with industry experts on how funders and nonprofit leaders can develop high impact programs. We want to acknowledge and thank as well Microsoft for their collaboration in bringing these programs and management solutions to you. So we have a powerful panel of program management leaders with us here today. So let's kick things off with introductions. I'll quickly introduce myself and then invite others to share. Like many on the team, I come from a mix of public sector and nonprofit experience, having worked both in county government and as an executive director of a rapidly growing nonprofit. It was my firsthand experiences with the challenges of trying to do it all, raising funds that didn't always support administrative efficiencies, delivering program services, all while managing impact data and responding to reporting and other requirements that really inspired me to join the Forward team. Kelly, then Elena, and finally Kelsey, can you each take a moment to introduce yourselves? Let's start with Kelly.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Sturgis. I am the Chief Operations Officer of Project Peacemakers Incorporated. We are located in Los Angeles, in the south area of Los Angeles. However, we service domestic violence and intimate partner violence victims all over the state of California and outside the state of California. We are an advocacy program that has different group classes, as well as providing as many resources as possible for our victims of domestic and intimate partner violence. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Elena, can you take a moment?
Yes, hi, my name is Elena Gonzalez with the East Los Angeles Women's Center, located in Los Angeles, providing services to direct victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking.
Thank you, Elena.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kelsey Martin. I am the Director of Client Services here at Forward Platform. Me and my team oversee all of the cash aid programs that Forward helps cities and counties and nonprofits administer. We have all sorts of cash aid programs that we've helped administer, guaranteed basic income programs, stipends. So we're really well versed in administering all those kinds of federal, state, and local programs. Before that, I actually worked for the city of Spokane, Washington, in managing some of their grant funds for COVID and CARES Act. And prior to that, I also worked managing a domestic violence shelter.
Thanks, Kelsey. All right, well, we have a very full agenda today. So first, Kelsey and I will share some background about Forward. Then we'll talk about how funder-grantee program operations can be enhanced using the Forward Sync platform. You'll get to hear from Elena and Kelly when we dive deeper into Empower You, which is one of many examples of how Forward Sync is being used to support programming around the country. Then I will provide a brief demo and we'll wrap up our time together with a Q&A session. So let me kick things off by sharing a bit about Forward. So Forward began as a data company, empowering jurisdictions around the country to make data-informed decisions with powerful data dashboards. Amid the pandemic, our customers needed help to quickly administer programs in their communities. So they asked for help and we responded. We expanded our platform to help administer their assistance programs, getting resources quickly into the hands of families and small businesses throughout the country that needed it most. And to date, we have dispersed over $1 billion to more than 300,000 families.
Forward really provides end-to-end program administration services, from rental assistance to housing services, small business loans, weatherization rebates, and then what we're talking about today, some cash assistance. We oversee really every facet of program administration, from initial program design to the collection of applications, eligibility determination, and then even to payment processing and compliance reporting. Our success, though, comes from two factors. Our team, which Helen kind of talked about, is 80% of us have a background in public sector and nonprofits. So we really deeply understand the challenges that organizations like yours face. So we leverage that firsthand experience, and we've designed our technology to manage these programs and deliver these services efficiently and accurately in a really cost-effective manner.
Thanks, Kelsey. Let's take a quick pause for our first poll. We'll have a handful of polls today, but our first poll, which Tina, who's supporting us behind the scenes, is going to post, is what is the biggest challenge you face in administering your programs? Some of them from my experience included data fragmentation and inconsistent reporting, managing administrative burdens, ensuring compliance and audit readiness, scaling programs efficiently, and demonstrating program impact. So let's just take a moment and cast your vote. What are some of the biggest challenges you face in administering your programs? All right, let's see. Yeah, demonstrating program impact. Yeah, that's by far one of the biggest ones we see, and that comes down to reporting and really capturing those key metrics early on in managing administrative burdens. Thank you so much. All right, let's continue. So we spent months on meticulous exploration, development, and collaboration with dedicated philanthropy and direct service professionals to understand their challenges. Organizations like yours tirelessly dedicate themselves to their mission, navigating complex challenges to bring out positive change and to support those who really need it the most. However, you know, the most critical and impactful work is frequently overshadowed by sheer volume of paperwork and fragmented data management and reporting. So here's some of the challenges that we heard from both sides. So from funders, we heard things like measuring the true impact of our funded projects is challenging, supporting grantees in building their capacity without being overly prescriptive is a challenge. Ensuring transparency and accountability in fund usage is difficult. And from grantees, things like managing the administrative burden, which the poll, just supported this, of reporting requirements is a challenge. Proving impact of our programs to funders is difficult, and limited organizational capacity really makes it hard to manage projects effectively. And lastly, we hear over and over that balancing innovation with proven methods can be a struggle. Nonprofits want to innovate, but there's really not a lot of energy available for that.
So with all these challenges, Forward really looks to combat that with placing communities at the heart of the program design and implementation. We are ensuring our solutions are tailored to meet the specific local needs and priorities. By teaming up with funders, nonprofits, and community groups, Forward really amplifies the impact of every dollar that's spent. Technology makes program administration transparent, accountable, and efficient. Thought partnership and ongoing tools and training to support and to run these effective and sustainable programs is vital. And then I think really the sweet sauce is that we share what works from successful programs nationwide, helping communities replicate and adapt winning strategies that we've seen across the nation.
So at Forward, we understand the importance of this community-centric model. That's why we developed Forward Sync, an all-in-one platform designed to enhance funder-grantee program operations. This model shows how Forward acts as a centralized hub for funders and grantees to manage programs and track impact. Let's take a quick moment and pause for another poll. This one, we are going to look at software systems. So Tina will bring this up in just a moment. What software systems, if any, are you using to manage programs? Are you using a proprietary software solution like Salesforce or Apricot? Some organizations have open source platforms, custom built systems, or spreadsheet-based management. Oh, that's on there twice. So we'll just vote for either you want. But I know Excel was a favorite of mine when I worked in nonprofit, and it still is. So let's take a moment and get your selection in, and then we'll continue. Yep, a lot of Excel going on. Love me a good Excel. Yeah, in Salesforce and Apricot, we see that quite a bit. So it's interesting that no one here today is using open source platforms, but definitely spreadsheets. Thank you, Tina. All right, so let's dive deeper into how Forward enhances program operations for funders and grantees. So with Forward, the funders, on the funder side of the fence, funders can track program impact with real-time data, standardized reporting. Who here has struggled with reports coming in as spreadsheet, Word docs on paper, and just needing to spend limited time reformatting and consolidating data. So we can standardize reporting, and you can ensure consistent and accurate grantee reporting by simplifying data analysis and the decision making. And funders can utilize detailed dashboards to gain insights into program performance and resource allocations. And then within the same platform, grantees can increase their efficiency of their day-to-day operations without having to put in extensive effort and resources to build and customize software to implement new programs. The grantees can easily capture and store client data for accurate record keeping and reporting, and they can monitor program milestones and outcomes to ensure that the goals are being met. And finally, they can centralize all reporting activities within one platform, which really streamlines communications with funders. I'm going to hand it over to Kelsey to dive into our case study about Los Angeles Empower You Fund and how LA County used the ForwardSync platform to enhance grantee operations by up to 40% and fostered local partnerships to develop a sustainable community-led pilot program.
Thanks, Ellen. So I'm really excited to share about the work on the Empower You Fund. It's a program that's so near and dear to my heart, near and dear to the women also on this call. So just a little bit of background about this program. Los Angeles County, who was the funder, partnered with Forward on a solution to implement initially a $2.5 million cash aid program for survivors of domestic violence. This program, as Helen and I kind of talked about a little earlier, utilize the model of funder, forward, and local community organizations. And it was that triangulation of the model that really proved most effective. LA was able to contract with us directly with Forward. And so LA had only one grantee, and therefore all of their reporting, all of their fund transfer was via just one agency. But at Forward, like we've been saying, we understand that community-based organizations really are the bread and butter of these programs. And so Forward then partnered with multiple local community-based organizations to help administer this program and be the boots on the ground. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Helen to have a little bit of a deeper discussion with some of the community-based organizations that we partnered with.
Thanks, Kelsey. Yeah, I'd like to get in a little deeper into the program and ask you, Elena and Kelly, a few questions. I'm going to stay with you just for a quick moment, Kelsey. Can you quickly share some of the key challenges before we start asking questions of Elena and Kelly? Can you share some of the key challenges LA County faced at the outset in administering the cash aid program?
Yeah, I think that the biggest challenge that the county initially faced was they needed to, this was via, I think I forgot to mention, but this program was funded from ARPA, some ARPA dollars. And really what the county wanted to do was have a pilot program with these fairly flexible ARPA dollars, but have the ability to have the results of this program, an impact report, prove effective enough that this program could then be funded in long-term funds, whether it was permanent funds or they were able to reallocate additional funds from other funding sources. But, they needed to take this kind of one-time expiring funding sourced program and they wanted to make it into a permanent program. And being able to do that, they needed to show the efficacy of it, and really that was their biggest challenge, was how do we make sure that all of these local CBOs can administer this program, but then we have holistic, concise, complete data to be able to go to our policymakers and stakeholders and lobby for this program to become permanent. And so that was really their biggest challenge initially, and part of why they partnered with us.
Thanks, Kelly. And that ties back to our first poll of what is consistently a challenge, and it's data's prove impact. This question will be for Kelly and Elena. How about we go first with Kelly and then Elena? Can you share about your collaboration with the county in administering the cash aid program? And you're on mute.
For us, and I'm going to say this, and I know Elena's going to agree, and she can put some input in this. But for us, what worked really well for us was that Forward was our middleman. They were able to handle any questions or anything that we needed that came along with the county and the data part. our job as far as the agencies was to do what we do every day. And that is to communicate and work with the clients and make sure that the clients that we were seeing or signing up for this were domestic violence victims or survivors. And it just worked really well with the communication, because now you have that person who's actually doing the data and the reports for you. And us as agencies can continue to do what we do best, which is actually have hands-on with our clients and put that in there and don't have to worry about that. And you've been talking about that consistently, Helen, during this webinar. If we don't have to worry about dealing with the data and the reports, it makes our job much easier. We can reach more people because now we can actually spend enough time on handling the volume that we should be receiving to get the information and to give these people what they need.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes, and if I can add, very similar to what Kelly shared, is so very fortunate that Forward was a middleman in communicating with the county, which made it very easy to communicate with Forward staff and get a quick response from them as well. So it was very accessible to contact Forward, and then Forward would then provide with either the answers or any troubleshooting that needed to be done. And so it really helped, exactly what Kelly said. It helped us stay in our lane in working with the direct client, and Forward helping us communicate with the county.
Thanks, Elena. Yeah, that goes back again to that administrative burden and just how that triad of working together really supports these programs when everyone has their lanes. Staying with Kelly and Elena, how did you handle the reporting requirements for the Cash Aid program? So can you talk about systems and tools that were crucial to meeting these requirements? And this time, let's start with Elena.
Yes, so again, Forward made it very easy for us. We provided the information to them, and they were able to do the reporting needed. So we provided the information, and Forward handled the reporting and the data collecting. So again, this really helped us in focusing, working directly with the clients, and Forward being our middleman.
Anything you'd like to add, Kelly?
To be honest with you, Elena said it all. I think the only thing I would add is the system. The system that we use creates collaboration amongst the actual agencies as well. So we're all using the same database, and we have, our clients, they have their clients. And so now if there's a client that's calling us and saying, hey, what's happening with ours and we can't find it, all we have to do is send an email. And not only are we sending it to Forward, but we're sending it to the other agency to find out, well, which agency actually has this client, because sometimes these clients don't hit the correct button of what agency they actually belong to. So with Forward double checking it, and then the agency coming back and saying, yes, exactly, that's exactly our client. You're talking about that happens within the same day. We're not talking 2 or 3 weeks out. We're talking within the same day. We're talking about maybe even a couple of hours, maybe even within 30 minutes. How streamlined is that? That a client is not sitting there waiting to receive a phone call back or an email back about, their card. It's just, it's tremendous. And to hear these clients say, thank you so much. You guys are doing such a great job. I really appreciate it. I thought I was going to have to wait 2 or 3 days. And they get a call or email back immediately.
That's great, Kelly. My next question, which kind of dovetails into what you were just describing, Kelly, and perhaps Elena, you can start with this one. I was curious about the role of technology in increasing these operational efficiencies, and Kelly already touched on that. Is there anything else you would like to share about how the role of technology increased efficiencies for your organization?
Yes, so it had low barriers. It was very user-friendly, not only for ourselves as the CBOs, but also for the clients. And so like Kelly mentioned, like once the client applied, the CBO would be able to see it on our platform. The client did apply, the client or had problems applying. I didn't get the application, or you know what, I saw your application, it came through. And so it made it really easy and empowering, empowering the client as well, to be able to apply very easily. Any challenges that they were faced, obviously they can come in into the office. But then a really neat feature of it was being able to communicate that way to our clients. So being able to receive correspondence from them and us being able to reply back, as well as messages. If clients would call directly forward, we would be able to get those messages and hear what the client was needing. If it was a follow-up, if it was just to inquire, if it was, I need to make sure that I did apply correctly. I'm not sure. I hit submit, but I'm not sure if it went through. And so the platform really helped us as CBOs to be able to track the application.
Anything else you'd like to add, Kelly, before we move on?
Yes, and so, and when Elena says track the application, again, the clients can track the application. So we're both tracking at the same time. And it gives the clients, like Elena said, empowering, but it lets them know that it's not just at a standstill where they're not hearing anything. And I think that's the big difference when you're dealing with the county of Los Angeles or any government agency. Sometimes you don't know where you are in the process. And when you don't know where you are in the process, that brings more worry to you because you don't you don't know if there's something else that's needed. You don't know if you did it correctly. And when our clients, these are victims and survivors of domestic violence. And when they're in need of these funds immediately and they are in limbo with other different programs, it's difficult for them because they're already going through trauma. They're already experiencing their own trauma. And now we're saying to them, hey, we have this program to help you. And they're like, okay, but when? So for them to be able to track it as well, to see where they are in the process, really gives them a relief and they're not as worried, or they can go on and focus on something else that's more important at that time, maybe their children, maybe trying to find a place, knowing that these funds are coming because they're able to track and not have to call all the time or try to find out what's going on or hear, oh, we're processing it, oh, we're processing it. So having this technology, having this where they're able to see it, we're able to see it at the same time, is a tremendous help. And again, that comes from Forward actually doing the dashboard and putting it together and allowing us to be able, and the clients, allowing both of us to be able to see it in real time.
Thank you, Kelly. Kelsey, I'd love to hear from you about feedback mechanisms that the program established to gather inputs from recipients particularly. And can you touch on how you use this feedback to improve the program?
Yeah, part of what we set up in this program was to not just provide the survivors with the cash card, but then really track that benefit and see if that benefit was actually effective in potentially helping them in their current situation. And so we would kind of survey the applicants at the beginning of their application, and then survey them again post receiving the funds to see, how those funds were spent, if they were effective in their lives. And with that, we provided those results as well as the results of the spending data to the county at the end of the first round of funding. So the first round of funding was for that 2.5 million. And at that point, that was all that the county was intentionally allocating to this program. But when we provided the results and we were able to show, the effects of how not only Kelly and Elena's CBOs, but the other 3 CBOs, how these applicants had moved along, and how they had used these funds, and how they had used the funds to fill a lot of the gaps that are there in the social services. They were then able to allocate a second round of funding for another about $1 million. And then with that, we provided additional impact report and data reporting to the county, where the county was then able to lobby for additional funds. So we actually just got, this program just got allocated another 3rd round of funding. So it's really exciting. As the program director in LA puts it, we're turning pilots into policy, and that's really exciting here, because this program that was a pilot is, because of the data and because of the efficacy that we're able to prove to the funder, they're able to turn this program into a more permanent solution, which is just really incredible.
Thank you. That always gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. And it's just amazing.
I wish I could coin it. It's not my phrase. I just love it, and I want to say a lot.
I love it. Elena, Kelly, can you share how the cash aid program impacted your organization's missions?
Yes.
Let's start with Elena.
Okay,
Yeah,
we can
that's
go.
great.
So part of our mission statement is to provide safety and well-being to our clients. And with this cash aid programs, our clients were able to use the money in whichever way it meant for them to stay safe and to be well, without being judged. And so if that meant moving out, if that meant fixing vehicles, if it meant being able to, we have a client that she is a street vendor and she was pushing a cart. So with this money, she was able to purchase a golf cart. So she no longer has to push this car that was then giving her back pain. And so now she drives a golf cart to sell her food. And so this cash aid meant for her, this is my well-being economically, because this is how I can sustain myself and my family. And so I love sharing stories like that, and how our mission statement says, you know, well-being. It can mean, the well-being can mean different things to any of us. And so for clients to be able to feel not judged in how they're spending this money.
And then just to add to that, for us, you know, we vetted every single person. So we had 400 in the first round, we had over 400 clients, and making sure that each client, because we know what a victim and a survivor, we know what they are, we know what they're going through. So when we say we vetted them, we're saying that we actually had an interview with them, okay? And making sure that, you know, first of all, they were in a safe place, number one. And then letting them know that they could use this card for whatever they wanted. Some people are like, well, can I only use it for this, or can I only, nope, this, you can use it for whatever you want. It's totally up to you. Again, that drops that nervousness, that trauma, you know, because a lot of times we have programs where, nope, you can only buy it for food. Nope, you can only spend it on personal hygiene items. Nope, but it only can be here. But when you're telling them, hey, no, you can use it for whatever you need, whatever, that just changes the game. It just makes them more comfortable. And then it becomes where not only are they getting this card, but they're getting additional services. You know, they're getting mental health services with us. They're getting relocation funds with us. They're getting in our classes, in our group classes, because they're like, you know, I don't want this to happen to me. They're getting legal services. We do temporary restraining orders in our office, compared to you having to go down to court. Well, now that we're talking about the situation, because when I say we're vetting, we're interviewing, we ask them, have you ever thought about getting a restraining order? And they're like, no, because it may cost too much. No, it doesn't cost you anything. Really, I didn't know that. So you see how it changes, it opens up so many other things when you are letting them know you don't have to just use it for just this. Because when you start telling them, or you start putting restrictions on that, then people don't want to talk to you about anything else. They just want what you're allowing them to get. So when you say no, it opens up to more, they're asking you, or they're saying to you, you know what? I want to hear more about your services. I never knew this was out here. It just changes the game. It's a game changer. If there was two work, it's a game changer.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to ask one more question of Kelsey, and then we'll move on to the demo. What are the key lessons you learned from administering this program that you would share with other organizations to looking to implement similar initiatives?
Yeah, I think obviously Kelly and Elena both touched on that these funds were unrestricted. The recipients could use these funds as they were empowered and what was meaningful to them. And I think that that's really what we're seeing, nationwide is really coming down the pike. A lot of funders, whether it's cities, counties, or private foundations, are doing these kind of pilot, basic income programs or cash aid programs. And I think a really important addition to these programs is the studies that are conducted alongside of them. These aren't just, here's $2,500, spend it as you'd like Kelly was saying. These people are getting this cash, and they're also getting additional wraparound services. And we're tracking how the efficacy of the wraparound services, and we're able to additionally monitor how the funds are being spent and use that information to give back to the funding agency, which is really a way to kind of disprove some of the potential assumptions on how cash aid, basic cash aid might be spent in, salacious ways. I think that what we're finding is that these funds are being spent to fill the gaps. There's not a lot of aid out there to get your oil changed. There's not a lot of aid out there to buy a plane ticket to fly somewhere safe in case an emergent situation comes up that your home is an unsafe place to be in, and people being able to have immediate cash to be able to do stuff like that and spend the funds in a meaningful and in a way that is impactful for them is pretty incredible. And I think that it's wonderful to be able to have data that shows that and that proves that. And so that's really the biggest lesson that we've learned is these pilots can be effective because there's data to show the efficacy.
Thank you, Kelsey. All right, let's jump over into our demo. Here, one second while I share my screen here. All right, so let's jump in. I'm going to start from our dashboard screen, and this is going to be pretty quick. When you first log into ForwardSync, each program manager has a unique dashboard that shows the program that they're working on and the client in the program that they're enabled to see. We have role-based access upon login, so individuals are only going to see clients that they are authorized to see and work with. Columns can be customized to a view that works best for your team, highlighting the details that are most relevant to what you are working on. So all of this is configurable, and it's all easily searchable using filtering options up here. And ForwardSync is a client-based client profile base. So all the information related to the client and any communications done with the client are all in one place. So I'm going to click into George Alexander down here, one of our sample profiles. The Forms engine is a powerful tool designed to help you create and manage custom forms for your program. From our administration console up here, modifications and configurations are all within your control. So you can choose from a variety of templates or start a new form from scratch if one that you need for your program, like a survey, for example, doesn't exist. That's all within your control to create. I'm not going to get into that today, but you're welcome to ask for a demo and we can get into that. So whether you're collecting applications or conducting surveys or tracking program milestones, our Forms engine makes it really easy and efficient. Sync supports document management. So I'm just going to go into the income tab here. And in this example, the client was required to submit a proof of income. So simply dragging and dropping George's W-2 attaches it to his record. And I can click on that and see it right from his record. The next thing I want to share with you is our communication center. So this has been called our secret sauce because it is a game changer. So as you can see from across the top bar here, all forms of communication can happen directly from the sync platforms. So calls, emails, and texts. And I'm just going to click on the text icon here. So access to the forward system, as I mentioned, is role-based, meaning that I can't see information unless my role-based permission allows me access. So through the Sync platform, it's possible for a program manager to manage a highly sensitive program with absolute minimal access to identifying information. So you'll see here that George's phone number is obscured to protect his personal identifying information. Now a case manager can text, call, or even email George without ever knowing more than his first name. And the same thing, the email is not here, but I can still go in and send an email to George. If I go down below, now I'm going to click on text. From our years of program experience, we also know that a lot of clients don't have access to computers, but generally everyone has a cell phone. So we designed this tool to send text messages with document attachments through the platform. And here you can see, I sent a message, I text George, I ask for a copy of his driver's license, and then George can easily take a photo of his driver's license, text it back, and now it's attached to his file. And the same thing, like if I go through calls, if I click through emails, transcripts of calls and copies of all inbound and outbound emails and text messages are stored in the client's profile. So you can go back and recall the conversation or documents that were sent. And all communications are stored chronologically. So anytime you need to recall information that was shared or received from a client, you can easily access it. And that's just super high level view. Happy to go in a little bit deeper, but I'm going to stop there and I'm going to shift over to another screen real quick to show you a little bit about our reporting. All right. This always gets me excited because I'm a bit of a data nerd. So let's talk about reporting real quick. So Ford's live dashboards provide real-time insights into your programs, allowing you to monitor performance, track key metrics, make data-driven decisions. So our live dashboards can be customized for funders and grantees to, one, track program performance and impact for funders, while at the same time tracking program progress for grantees. So in our dashboard views, a grantee would have access to see only their agency's data, while a funder could see program performance across all their grantees in agglomeration. So here we can see real-time interactive data about the program, such as application started, received, paid, or denied. And just like our application forms, any of these fields and the type of data track can be customized. You can filter data by demographic information, such as gender and ethnicity. Under the CBO performance, we can track the impact of grantees. And then lastly, we can also track impact by region. So that wraps up our demo of Forward Sync. We have one last poll question as we wrap up and move towards Q&A. So this next poll is asking about impact features. So which features of Forward Sync are most impactful, or do you think would be most impactful to your work? And several things to choose from here: user-friendly interface, customizable reporting tools, client communication and tracking, cloud-based access, integration with other software, scalability, training and support services, or cost effectiveness. So we'll just take a moment. Yeah, communication and tracking is always at the top of the list, and definitely our secret sauce. And yes, scalability is in there. All right, thank you. I'll just wait one moment for Tina to share slides again. All right. So whether you're looking to improve efficiency, ensure compliance, or better track program impact, ForwardSync can help. We're excited to invite you to see how ForwardSync can work for your organization by scheduling a personalized demo. So during the demo, you can explore a tailored walkthrough of the platform and focus on your specific needs and challenges. So please click on the link in the chat or scan the QR code on the screen and set that up. And now we'll open the floor to some questions. So please submit any questions you have in the Q&A. We likely won't have time to answer all of your questions. So if your question's not answered, we'll definitely circle back to you via email. All right. I'll just wait a few seconds so folks can get their questions. Okay. So one of the questions is, can ForwardSync integrate with our existing software systems, such as donor management or accounting software? So ForwardSync is designed to integrate with existing software systems, including donor management and accounting software. Our integration team, so when we work with new customers, our integration team can work with your team to understand what your data systems are and build out an integration plan to provide regular updates on project statuses. So we're committed to expanding our integration capabilities. So if you use a software system that's not currently supported, our team's open to exploring and developing new integrations to meet those specific needs. And one of the things I just want to point out, many folks on this call are already in the Microsoft ecosystem. So we can integrate with Microsoft Suite tools, including 365 Dynamics. There's also another question. How does data migration work when transitioning to ForwardSync? What support do you offer during this process? So we start by assessing your existing data, creating a customized migration plan, and assisting in data preparation and cleanup. So data is then securely transferred, followed by a thorough set of testing and validation. And then we also provide comprehensive training and ongoing support to ensure smooth transition and effective use of the new system. What is the pricing structure for ForwardSync? Thanks for that question. Our pricing structure varies. I think it's best for organizations to first visit the Azure Marketplace to get a sense of our pricing structure, and then contact us for additional conversations regarding your specific situation. And I believe the link may already be in the chat. If it's not, it'll be there in a second. Kelsey's nodding her head, so I'm not monitoring the chat. Thank you. And let's see, we'll take one more question. Are there any initial setup fees or additional costs for integration or customization? So in most cases, there are no setup fees. Pricing for data migration, integrations, and customizations vary, and we will work with you to determine what that would be. All right, I've been talking a lot today. Thank you for your time. So it was a really full time together. I know we didn't get to everyone's questions. We'll follow up on the ones that came in through our Q&A. If you have any questions and didn't have a chance to submit it, please feel free to send it to us through our website, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.